1 second, you're a little quiet. Let me turn you up.
No worries. I won't be talking much anyway, mate. It's your presentation.
Okay, fair enough. I'm ready. You ready?
So, yeah. Let's go.
All right, cool. Let me load up the screen share.
Excellent.
Share screen 1. Right, you should be able to see it now. That good?
Yeah.
All right, good. Where's the buttons? I forgot which one. I haven't used PowerPoint in ages. Here we go.
No worries. Off you go. Whenever you're ready.
Right. Yeah. So there are 3 key stages in the game development pipeline / workflow. There is pre-production, production, and post-production. The pre-production is about planning the game, planning the timescale of the project, planning the resources that are needed to make the game or the project. The pre-production stage should take about 10 to 20% of the project's timescale. Planning the game usually consists of writing a document with the following: gameplay concept, core gameplay mechanics, extra gameplay features, and a breakdown of how the gameplay will flow and the project's scope breakdown. Some may also create a rough prototype of these mechanics to make sure that they fit within like the plan themselves. For the production phase, that is just creating the game, creating the assets, creating mechanics, gameplay, etc. That's like the main thing. And whenever you're creating a game, that's usually split up into 5 sections. The vertical slice, which is like a finalized proof of concept, which they would send off to like studio heads to see if they want to like fund the game, etc. What else? It also helps to understand the project timescale to see how much the game would probably take to finish. The pre-alpha, which is the main stage of the production, prepares basically for testing and feedback. The game should be fully playable from start to finish once the end of the pre-alpha is finished. And then in the alpha, it's all about playtesting, getting feedback, making sure that all the mechanics feel right, basically just adding finishing touches, etc. In which you'll then go into beta, which is basically just bug fixing and making sure that the game isn't completely broken. Right after that, there is the release stage, where the game is sent to the publishers and hopefully the game is released. And then we go into the post-production, which is basically just updating that said game with new patches if needed. New like DLC content can be created if that's what they want. A post-mortem can be made, which is a meeting with the team to discuss the pros and cons with the workflow, see if anything can be changed and improved upon. And then there can also be a closing kit, which is a massive document of all of the code, assets, etc., which can help, for say, if they wanted to make a sequel to a game, so they have all them assets ready. For my case study, I've chosen Minecraft. Minecraft is a survival sandbox game released in 2011. In the pre-production, Notch was inspired to make a game like Infiniminer, which was a PvP-based block building game. Notch wanted to spend around 6 to 12 months on this project, and he didn't really have much of a plan for the game until about halfway through finishing it. In the production phase, the vertical slice was made and gameplay was first shown back in 2009. But the thing is, he didn't need to send it off to any teams or anything because it was all being completely self-funded. He was paying for all the assets with his own money. The game was very simple. You could only place a couple of different blocks, stone and grass. And then the game was in alpha until December of 2010, where the first beta was released, adding new blocks, mobs, and basically most of the gameplay was done until the first release in 2011 with a completable boss battle and more. In the post-production, the game is still regularly updated to this day, adding and overhauling many of Minecraft's out-of-date features since 2011. I've chosen this project as it is one of my favourite games of all time, and because its workflow, well, before Notch sold it to Microsoft, it was more of like an indie thing where Notch basically had the full control of the whole game. He was basically just the guy who chose what goes here, what goes there, etc. And that's how I would work in an indie team. I'd be like the top of the top. So for the case study, I've done Notch again. Notch was the main designer and creator of Minecraft in the beginning of November 2014, which is when he sold it to Microsoft. He's worked on many games such as Minecraft, Call as Bane, Cliff Horse, and 0x10, which I think is 0 to the power of 10. His work and his job appeals to me because he is a mix of a few job roles in the indie game development. He is the main designer and the main programmer, and that appeals to me because an overview of the development of the game as a whole, in which he can get other people to help him code if it's needed, or get other people to create art and stuff for things he can't do, but he is overall the person making the game. That is the style of game development I would like to commit to, as me mainly working on the game myself or with a friend and hiring other people to do things we can't do. Yeah, I said that just a second ago. It is very different to big game development companies, as you would have entire teams designing and developing the game, which is very different. I would like to work mainly on the production stage, as that is what I enjoy the most, mainly coding and implementing the gameplay itself. I prefer this role over others because the production stage is mainly full of practical work, as well as getting some feedback and improving upon the work. The requirement of this job is having good skills in programming and problem solving, as programming is basically the backbone of any game you play. If there is no programming, you don't have a game. And problem solving helps finding and eliminating bugs and problems that you need to fix to make, the design team's ideas work. Most programmers in this case need a lot of patience because bug finding and programming can take a lot of time, and it could take ages before you get any decent results from what the design team actually wants. I've gone through some game development programming jobs, and I've rarely found any jobs asking for any qualifications, surprisingly. But the ones that have asked for qualifications have asked for good maths, so I say 5 and above in maths, IT, and English. The pros and cons of this job: very high pay, from around 72,000 per year to about 37 pounds. That's not 72, 27,000 per year to 37,000 per year, and that is if you're working for a company. If you're working for an indie game team, or you're working as an indie game team, if you get lucky and your game is a big hit, there is major profit to be made. And the cons of having this job is very time consuming, and it may include crunch, meaning I would have to spend lots of overtime, and not everyone likes that. And that's it. On air, you, Carl.
Sorry. I was just saying, well done. I'll give you some
Thank
proper
you.
feedback next week as well when I'm in with you. I'll have a chat with you, sit down, talk about your project, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Your on a lighter note, or a different note, I've realised I think one of the reasons why that call's still going as well is because you're still in it. Whenever I've gone back in to check on that call that had been going on for like 17
Really?
hours, it says you're on hold in
That's-
it as well. So I'm not sure whether it's because you've dropped in to take a look or what. I don't know, but yeah. So it might be worth going to the team's calendar, clicking it, and just seeing if it can close. It's not. It's no issue at all. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, so that'd be
Yeah.
really
So.
weird. I'll turn my computer off.
Yeah, that's what I
Turn it
that's what I
anyway.
did last night as well. It's strange. It must be just a Teams bug, I guess.
Oh well, yeah.
With all of this stuff, make sure if you haven't already that you're evidencing the research on the Wix as well, okay? Because you've clearly
Mhm.
found loads of good information. Just make sure you're showing that what you've looked at and things like that, which is good. How do you feel you'd go about incorporating these elements into your solo game?
I say the work, the pre-production, the production, and the post-production thing. I do like that. That is a
Mhm.
very good way of working. So I
Excellent.
probably would do that in
So
the solo project. Yeah.
cool. Following that pipeline through.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. Do you have any questions or anything for me, Jaeger?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
No worries. In which case, I will say take care for now, and I will speak to you soon. All right.
All right. See you
All
in a
the
bit.
best. Well done. Take care. Keep it up.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.